So today's conversation's goals is for you to evaluate your business and to strike the balance between attracting clients with your branding versus having substance. So I've been inspired for this episode for a long time. I think the first time that I had a conversation about it was 2 years ago during a webinar about branding. And one of the attendees asked me, well, I understand all of those things about branding, and I'm doing so much effort into having a good presentation, a beautiful website, and beautiful visual, and bringing a lot into having my own identity as a business owner. But I do see other people online that don't make those efforts and still attract a lot of people. There's a lot of coaches or business owner on Instagram, for example, they don't even put that much effort into their branding. They literally going to create a carousel and the background is white, the text is in black, there is no specific branding, and they still attract a lot. So if ever you have been thinking the same or struggling with the same thing, this episode is for you. So a candy shop business is those businesses that attract and appeal visually to a specific audience. Because they have a way of presenting themselves, they're very curated in their branding. They really put a lot of effort into appealing visually. You can see that they attract a certain type of audiences because of that presence. And a library type of business is a business that actually might not attract because of their visual, because maybe they're too technical in the terms that they're using. Maybe they don't push too much into the visual aspect of their branding, or they don't have a clear identity yet for the masses to understand, but they brings a lot of value. And throughout my journey of helping entrepreneurs building their brands and building also their sales funnel, I realized that a lot of them struggle with that. And also a lot of my peers out there, we already had this conversation that, sometimes you feel like you have a lot to offer. You have worked so much into what to bring to your clients, the processes, how to improve your own, services or product, and yet there is somebody else's out there who have a perfect curated brand and attract more easily. And with that experience and the conversations that I had, there is one thing that I realized that comes up very quickly. I know a lot of people who can tells you by experience that they did buy a program or a course from a person that is very Instagram famous or LinkedIn famous or YouTube famous because of their branding, and yet the value that was inside the offer wasn't there. It wasn't a rendezvous. So this is what I mean by candy shop type of businesses versus library type of businesses. And today, I really want for you to think about, have you ever struggled with that? Literally watching people in your industry getting more traction because they have a certain brand, because they have been in place for a moment, and that you bring as much, if it's not more value in the market, but you don't attract that much. That means that maybe you'll go into the library type of business, and maybe you are the opposite. Maybe, it's kind of pretty hard for people, let's be honest for 2 seconds, who don't really bring that much value to acknowledge it. If I can be, honest, I think those people think that they brings value, but the thing that they put the most upfront would be their branding, because they know that this is their force, this is how they sell, this is how they attract new clients. So now that you have a better picture of what I meant by businesses that are either candy shop businesses or library businesses. And by the way, I did took this image for a simple reason. For example, if you are walking on the street and you see a bakery and you see all of those beautiful, cake and pastries in the storefront, and you're like, oh my God, those chocolate, I just want it. I want to eat it. And you smell the smells. It's very appealing. The brands appeals to you. And that is what I mean by candy shop type of businesses. So those will be businesses that appeal a lot on the visual aspect, but it doesn't mean that they bring a lot of substance, not all the time. And on the other side, the library type of business is a business that have a lot to give, a lot of depth, a lot of knowledge, a lot of value to offer, big transformation to give to their clients, but maybe they have a real difficulty to attract, because most of the times libraries are not sexy to the masses. People who love libraries are not the average everyday people. It's a specific group of persons. So this is why I wanted to have those two different pictures for you to imagine. I know I took it to the extreme. It doesn't mean that because you're a candy shop business that you don't bring substance and you don't have value. There are candy shop businesses that are very good at giving a lot to their customers and delivering in their offers. And there is also a lot of libraries that still appeals to a lot of people. But I wanted it to take it to the extreme because I wanted you to assess your own business and your own reality into this big picture. So for people who would believe that they are into the library category of business, maybe your frustration right now is, I've learned so much. I invested so much into courses, programs, and mentors. I have so much to bring to the table. There is so much that I deliver. How can I not attracting people? How can people don't see the value of what I am offering and what I am building as a business? How am I actually struggling in those areas when I know that there is so much depth into what I do? Why is nobody notice me? And honestly, this is completely understandable. I completely understand this feeling because in the beginning, I would have really categorized myself as a library business. I feel like there's so much that I've put into the business, so much that am curated when it comes to processes and system and how can I improve for my clients and how can I serve them better. Yet for a moment, I had a lot of difficulties to attract people to my business, even people that were actually the perfect target audiences. They would prefer to pay or buy the offer from somebody else's that were more, I don't know, like maybe selling dreams. You're gonna, make $1 million in 6 months if you follow me. You're gonna do this, you're gonna do that. That type of people that have really attracting branding just because of the powerful messages and the way they present themselves. I prefer to stay aligned with who I am, and I am also a very realistic person. So I'm not selling you are going to go over $1 million this year in 6 months. I'm not saying that it's not possible, though. I'm just saying that this is not what I sell. What I sell is for people to actually build a sustainable business through sales funnels. So some of my peers who are sales funnel builders out there, they love to push the message to the extreme and tells people that they're going to help them make millions out of the blue just because they're going to build them a system that's going to help them do that. That is not my personal promise, but I understand that maybe the mass is attracted to that, to people who have branding that talks in that way and put a lot of effort into also, having visuals curated and being present all over the place on social media. I help clients build sustainable businesses through sales funnels and also build brands that will impact their world, will impact their clients. Because I believe in longevity. I believe of building up a business. I believe that if it have to take 9 years or 5 years for you to get to the point that you're going to go, then it will take that 9 years or 5 years, but you need to build up in a sustainable way, because what you don't want is to build fast and to just crush your business down in a few months or in a few years. By the way, I'm not saying that there is a wrong or right side to this whole conversation. I'm just saying that there is an offer for every demand and there is a demand for every offer. So if people do prefer to go to somebody else, accept it. It's okay. It means that those people are not meant for you, and what's for you, it's for you. So the right clients, the right opportunities will come to you. So do not even worry about that. That is not the conversations of today, but I want you to be really clear about that. There is no doubt that people who deserves you will comes to you. Now, the biggest misconception about candy shop type of business is that just because business looks attractive doesn't mean that it offers more values. Just because a business have a beautiful presence online on social media, or an entrepreneur presents themselves well, doesn't mean that they are going in the long run to be able to support clients better. The appeal of candy shops may fade very quickly if not supported by value. So don't fall into that trap of seeing somebody so popular, so appealing online, and you're like, oh, this coach is the one. This business is actually the one. I think I'm going to pay for their offer. Really go for the substance, and also what value are you attached to when it comes to that person? Do you have something in common? Does the message really, really translate into something that you hold into your own life, into your own values? Because good appealing businesses are not guaranteed to deliver the promise that they're giving you. The reality when you are in business is that looking good is not actually sustainable for retention into your business. So do not spend too much time thinking that you have to be a business that just appeals to the mass, because you don't want to please to the mass. You want to please to just the specific ideal customer that you want for you. You're not here to appeal to everybody. You want a specific type of person. So that is why I also think that it's great to have a balance between those two. And honestly, I do believe that to be successful, you sometimes have to have a balance between the two of them, being a library and a candy shop, being attracting and appealing to the right people that you want to attract, but also being as valuable as you can be and delivering on the promise that you can give to your customer. So now, whether you identify yourself between one or the other group of business, how do you bridge the gap? How do you really fix the library versus the candy shop problem? Because if you are appealing, maybe you're too preoccupied by having followers and growing your audience online and having beautiful visuals and presenting well. And believe me, you guys, I know people personally who are very popular on a platform, let's say Instagram or LinkedIn. You would see they're posted, you would be like, oh wow, that person is thriving. Every post they're doing, there's like 200 comments and so many saves and shares, and yet I'm posting and I only have 2 likes and 1 comment, and that is my bestie. But I can tell you that it doesn't mean that those people have a well-structured business, and it doesn't even mean that they're making money. A lot of people online, unfortunately, nowadays are pretending a lot. So do not worry about those vanity metrics and the fact that you don't have the same support, you don't have the same engagement, you don't have the same audience. It's okay. It's great for those people to have that. So if you are a candy shop business and you focus too much on that, maybe now is the time to focus more about your business structure and just bringing more to the table. And if you are a library type of business, it doesn't mean that you're not good enough if other people are attracting more target audiences. It just means that maybe you haven't found the right balance yet to find your own tribe, and that is okay. So to bridge the gap between those two type of businesses and to have a good balance, I think that for those who will consider themselves as a library type of business, maybe what you can do right now is to invest into your branding and your marketing, because those two are important elements for you to be able to make your business survive into this online world. So what I mean by that is that you could improve your visual and without compromising the depth of your offering. It doesn't mean that you need to compromise anything or to give less than what you're giving or what you're able to give. It just means that maybe you need to dig deeper into the strategy that you need to put in place, and be very careful there, because the strategies that works for other people doesn't mean that it's going to work for you. Some people might be super active and post 2 posts a day on LinkedIn, and maybe LinkedIn is the platform where you want to thrive, but you can't. But it doesn't mean that you need to post 2 posts a day to be successful and have an attracting, business. It just means that you need to find your own path, your own rhythm, your own just map to follow it. You need your own strategy and to follow it. This is what I mean by that. Also, for people that would say, yeah, I'm definitely a library business, maybe what you're kind of lacking right now is the way you're sharing your knowledge, because a lot of us library businesses, we're talking in a way that is very, very, very expert, wise. So we talk with words that our target audience doesn't understand. We overcomplicate things, and maybe those words, this way of speaking for you sounds completely normal because that is your norm. You're an expert. So those words doesn't resonate like something difficult to understand, but somebody like your target audience that doesn't have your level of understanding your expertise might be completely lost about what you are talking about. If I'm a funnel expert and all I talk about is conversion rates and just numbers and just things that are too engineered wise for somebody who doesn't even understand what is a funnel to begin with, and that is the person that I want to attract, obviously I will have a hard time to get their attention, because the continent will not meeting. They will not be understanding what I am talking about. So maybe just having that understanding that you need to be at their level and to talk to them the way they will understand, it doesn't remove anything from your expertise. It just shows that you are adaptable to the way people can understand your message. So what I mean by that is that you just need to simplify complex ideas or concepts for people to understand it. That is it. And then maybe in what you deliver, your offer, you get more technical, and people would be actually surprised. They will be like, oh, wow, you're way more expert than what I thought, because when you talked about this specific topic, I thought it was just about that, but now you're getting into things that are more complex. So they'll see how much of an expert you are. So that is actually the plus of somebody that would identify themselves as a library business, right? And in the opposite way, if you want to bridge the gap and you are a candy shop type of business, and maybe you have a lack into the how can I deliver great and good depth value services or product to my clients? This is where you might need to actually work a little bit more. So it means that you will have to build a little bit more substance and provide more value in your services and follow through also. That is very important, because all you want is to ensure that your business is just not a eye-catching business, but it's a business that will actually create and bring retention. You will have clients talking about you to other people and people referring you, versus having people coming to other people and saying, hey, I've bought the course, the services, the mentorship of that person, and I can tell you that, yeah, they're just famous on this platform. They don't bring anything new that, I didn't know. They didn't really bring substance or value. And this is something that I've heard so many times to people that I've worked with or peers of mine. Like, yeah, I will not recommend you this coach or this program because really there are just, candy shops type of business. They're eye catching, they have followers, they have the audience, but honestly, I've paid other people more money than that or less money than that. It doesn't even matter, but they're bringing more and I had a better transformation. So, why do I wanted to talk about that today? Because we all already know that the person who wins in the market is not necessarily the best person, meaning that it's not necessarily the one who knows the most, the ones who is the most intelligent. It's actually the ones who attract the more. That is how it works when it comes to business and market. So many times I've talked to freelancers and entrepreneurs who are doubting themselves in their services and their product. And knowing my personal path, having working with agencies and also freelancers and business owners, I can tell you that sometimes those big names agencies are not doing better than a freelancer when it comes to serving their clients. There is a business right now that I'm working with. They have worked with an agency and I've seen the work. It is catastrophe. Like, I'm sorry, like it's just a reality. And not long ago, I went to an event where I was talking to another entrepreneur who was telling me how much he was struggling in his area and how he was trying to take example of this and that agency because he loved their marketing and stuff. And I was like, well, talking about this agency, I know someone, it's a client, by the way, who I've worked with them, and the service is not here. Like they're not delivering. So do not be so much concerned about businesses that seems or entrepreneurs that seems to do well and be famous and have good branding and marketing, because maybe those people sometimes can be just a candy shop. So it means that they appeal, they look pretty, but when it comes to really being strategic and serving their client, people are being disappointed. Meanwhile, you are in the other side looking at them and comparing yourself, and there's no need to compare yourself. Nobody is at anybody's level. Everybody is playing in their own field and category, and it's good. You have to just assess your own reality and your own business. Be honest with yourself. Does my business look like a candy shop? Does my business look like a library? How can I bridge the gap? How can I make it better so I'm not lacking in one or the other way? How can I make a way so people see the value and I am attracting the right persons, the right clients around me, the right partnerships also? I am absolutely not saying that you cannot be successful being one or the other. I just feel like to give yourself the best chances to be successful in your business and not feeling down about not attracting, or not feeling down about attracting but not delivering because you can see that people are actually disappointing into your offers. Then this is where I want you to think about what can I do to actually bring the best of both worlds. So I really hope that this episode actually brings you some ideas and maybe comfort if you felt just some frustration about something, that you can improve yourself, that the road is a journey and that it's not the end. It doesn't mean that because now you're struggling that you're not going to get out of it. So, I really do hope that this episode helps you just question yourself, assess your own business, and really point at where are your forces and where are you lacking maybe. And if ever you're lacking into your branding presence online and you feel like, yeah, this is the thing that I don't really have in place right now, or maybe I need a rebrand, a refresh, because I've been around for a moment. My business have been literally making money, but I know that I can attract even better. And this is where I need help. Please do check out the website shelo.co, because we do help entrepreneurs into building sustainable brands and businesses. I just can't wait to hear you into my DMs or emails, or let me know in a comment section. What do you think about this episode? I'll be very very, very curious to know what has been your personal experience with these two type of businesses, and also dealing with somebody else's having, whether a candy shop or a library business. And tag a friend who maybe is a library business and needs some help. Okay, just tag them so they can have some support and know that they will attract as long as they continue their journey. Thank you so much for listening.